Today we are going to discuss about chapter 8 of Canto 9 from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is titled as The Son of Sagara Meet Lord Kapiladev. So yesterday we have seen the chapter of Harishchandra, and in the same lineage Sagara Maharaj is there, and we are going to discuss about him in today's session. So before getting started, we'll recite Mangalacharna prayers. नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नामश्रेष्ठम् अनुमपि सचीपुत्रमत्र स्वरूपं रूपं तस्याग्रजमुरुपुरीं माधुरीं गोष्ठवाटीं राधाकुण्डं गिरिवरमहो राधिका माधवास्यां प्राप्तो यस्य प्रतितकृपया श्रीगुरुं तं नतोऽस्मि कृष्णादन्यमजानत क्षणमपि स्वप्नेऽपि विश्वेश्वरे तस्मिन् भक्तिमहैतु किं विदधतो हृत्काय वाग्भिः सदा श्रीलान् सद्गुणपुञ्जकेलिनिलयान् प्रेमावताराणहं वन्दे भागवतानि मामनुलवम् मूर्ध्नानि प्रत्यक्षितौ आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावदातौ सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ जयतां सुरतौ पंगोर्मम मंदमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोजौ राधा मदनमोहनौ नीलाचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रसुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः. So we are discussing from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, which is representing the Lord's throat. So Kantastu Rajan Navamo Yiddiyo. In that, all the Ishanukada topics are discussed. It is like about the Lord devotees and their descendants. So today we are reading about the Sun Dynasty's lineage, and in that we are going to discuss about Sagara Maharaj, which is the chapter 8 of Canto 9. करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातं वन्दे दीनतारं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय. So we'll start with the first verse. Sri Sukha Uvacha Harito Rohita Sutas Champastasmad Vinirmrita Champapuri Sudevoto Vijayo Yasya Chatmajaha. So here again we are continuing to discuss about the lineage from the Rohita. So Rohita was the son of which we have discussed yesterday. So here Sukadeva Goswami is continuing. The son of Rohita was Harita, and Harita's son was Champa, who constructed the town of Champapuri. And the son of Champa was Sudeva, and his son was Vijaya. Barkastat sutastasmad Vrgastasyapi Bahukah Soribhirhita Bhuraja Sabharyo Vanamavisat. The son of Vijaya was Bharuka, and Bharuka's son was Vrika, and Vrika's son was Bahuka. The enemies of King Bahuka took away all his possessions, and therefore the king entered the order of Vanaprastha and went to the forest with his wife. So here the lineage was continuing, and the last son, who is the son of Vrika, is Bahuka, and he has lost all his possessions, and he took Vanaprastha along with his wife. Vriddam tam panchatam praptam mahisyano marishyati aurvena janathatmanam prajavantam nivarita. So Bahuka died when he was old, and one of his wife wanted to die with him following the sati rite. At that time, however, Auramuni, knowing her to be pregnant, forbade her to die. So, as Bahuka entered the forest along with his wife, so one of his wives wanted to die with him as the part of Sati. But Auramuni has forbade because she is pregnant. आज्ञायसि सपत्नीभिर्घरो दत्तोऽन्दसासः सह तेनैव सञ्जातः सगराख्यो महायशः सगरश्चक्रवर्त्यासीत् सगरो यत्सुतैः कृतैः. So knowing that she was pregnant, the co-wives of the wife Bahuka conspired to give him her poison with her food, but it did not act. Instead, the son was born along with the poison. Therefore, he was famous as Sagara, one who is born with poison. Sagara later became the emperor, and the place is known as Ganga Sagara, was evacuated by his sons. So here the lineage was continuing as what the pregnant wife who was there, who was planned to be part of the Sati ritual, she was stopped by the Muni, and now she had a boy who is named as Sagara, and later he became emperor. Yastala Jagan Yavanan Chakan Haya Barbaran Navadhi Guruva Kena Chakre Vikrita Veshinaha. Sagara Maharaja, following the order of his spiritual master Aurava, did not kill uncivilized men like the Tala Jagans, Yavanas, Sakas, Haihayas, and Barbaras. Instead, some of them he made dress awkwardly. So he became emperor, and again he started ruling the world, and he has captured many kingdoms. In that, these were all part of that, and now they will be like slaves to him because they have already accepted defeat to him. Now, following the instructions of his guru, who is Aurava, he did not kill the uncivilized men in these things, and he made them dress awkwardly. Mundan Chamrashu Dharan Kamseen Muktakeshadara Munditan Anantar Vasasa Kamsid Ababhir Vasasoparan. Some of them he shaved clean but allowed to wear mustaches. So he is trying to make everyone looking awkward so that they will be repenting of whatever the uncivilized things they were doing. So he is continuing. Some of them he left were losing hair, some of them he half shaved, some of them he left without underwear, and some without external garments. Thus, these different clans were made to dress differently, but King Sagara did not kill them. So, killing is like, because his guru said, don't kill them, he has made them, everyone look awkwardly like they will be repenting of what they are doing. So Aswamedhair Ayajata Sarva Veda Suratmakam Auropadista Yogena Harim Atmanam Ishwaram Tasyoristam Paurusham Yagne Jaharashvam Purandaraha. Following the instructions of the great sage Aura, Sagara Maharaj performed Ashwamedha sacrifices and thus satisfied the Supreme Lord, who is the Supreme Controller, the super soul of all learned scholars, and the knower of all Vedic knowledge, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Indra, the King of Heaven, stole the horse meant to be offered at the sacrifice. So we generally see whenever one is performing Ashwamedha Yajna or any other Yajna with very purity and devotion, at that point we see Indra coming in between, because in case if this sacrifice is complete and if he gets the benefit, if he asks like, what is the thing you want, then he might say that I want to become the king of heaven. So instead, or in that sense, Indra is always like wherever there are yagnas by the kings, he'll be making sure that he is going to disturb that so that they will not disturb his position as the king of the heaven. So here the king started performing Ashwamedha sacrifices. The Sagara Maharaj started performing Ashwamedha sacrifices, and he has satisfied that Supreme Lord, who is the supreme controller and super soul of all learned scholars, even everyone, and the knower of the Vedic knowledge. Vedanta Veda Videvacha. Now, his lineage will be explained. Sumatyastanaya driptah pitur adeshakarinah hayam anveshamanaste samantanya akhyan mahim. King Sagara had two wives, Sumati and Keshini. So the son of Sumati were very proud of their prowess and influence, and following the order of their father, searched for the lost horse. While doing so, they dug into the earth very extensively. So here, as we saw, King Sagara was performing the Ashwamedha sacrifice, and Indra took away that horse. So searching for that horse, this king has ordered his sons, like the sons of Sumati, to search for that horse. And while searching that horse, the sons of Sumati or the Sagara, they have dug the earth very extensively. So as we can see in the picture, they started digging the earth down, 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 and they were reaching the lower planets. Pragyudachyam dishi ayam dadrishu kapilantike eshavajiharaschaura aste milita lochana hanyataam papa iti shasti sahasrina udayudha abhiyayur unmishena tada munihi. Thereafter, in the northeastern direction, they saw the horse near ashrama of Kapila Muni. So they have dug, and inside they have went, and in the northeastern direction, they saw this particular horse near the ashram of Kapila Muni. Kapila Muni is an incarnation of Supreme Lord. And they are saying, here is the man who has stolen the horse, they said. He is staying there with closed eyes. Certainly he is very sinful. Kill him, kill him. Shouting like this, the son of Sagara, 60,000 altogether, raised their weapons when they approached the sage. The sage opened eyes. So all these 60,000 children of Sagara, they were digging the earth. They went there and saw this Kapila Muni sitting, and he is doing his meditation with his closed eyes. And they found the horse nearby Kapila Muni's ashram. Then they thought, this person has stolen the horse. Now let's kill him because he is very sinful. And they approached the sage. At this point, Kapila Muni has opened his eyes. Swasharira Agnina Tavan Mahendra Hrita Chetasaha Mahat Vyatikrama Hata Bhasma Sat Abhavan Kshanat. By the influence of Indra, the king of heaven, the sons of Sagara had lost their intelligence and disrespected a great personality. Consequently, fire emanated from their own bodies and they were immediately burned to ashes. So here, all the 60,000 sons of the Sagara were influenced by Indra because he has stolen the horse. And again, he want to make that sacrifice not success, or he want to make that sacrifice as a failure. So at this point, King Indra influenced all his sons and they have disrespected this great personality, the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, Kapila Muni. And consequently, as a part of that, they have burnt their own body into ashes. as the fire emanated from themselves. Nasaduvadu muno Nasaduvado munikopabarjita Nripendra putra iti sattva-dhamani Katam tamoras rosamayam vibhavyate Jagat pavitratmani kerajo bhuvaha. So it is sometimes argued that the sons of Sagara were burned to ashes by the fire emanating from the eyes of Kapila Muni. This statement, however, is not approved by the learned personalities. For Kapila Muni's body is completely in the mode of goodness and therefore cannot manifest by the mode of ignorance in the form of anger, just as the pure sky cannot pollute by the dust of earth. So here Sukadeva Goswami is saying, like, people might think that whatever or the sons of Sagara Maharaj have burnt to ashes while Kapila Muni had a glance over them because of seeing Kapila Muni of this kings of Sagara Maharaj, they might have burnt to ashes with the fire emanated from his eyes. But in this verse, he is saying it is not like that. It was like the fire emanated from their bodies and they have burned to ashes. It is not like fire emanated from the Kapila Muni's eyes. Why? Because it is said Kapila Muni's body is completely in the mode of goodness and therefore this kind of mode of ignorance or in the mode of anger cannot manifest. And there is an analogy which is given like, just as the pure sky cannot be polluted by the dust of earth. So we can see sometimes the dust of earth rises up to a point, but again, after some time, it will come and settle back on the earth. And the ratio which we can compare in the entire sky and this dust covered that portion of sky is very negligible. So dust of the earth cannot pollute the sky. Similarly, none of the mode of ignorance or mode of passion can become part of the Kapila Muni's body. So he is completely full of mode of passion. Yasyerita sankyamai dradena nao yaya mumukas tarate duratyayam bhavaranam mrityupatam vipassitah paratma bhutasya katam pritam matihi. Kapila Muni enunciated in this material world. So as we all know, Kapila Muni is the son of Devahuti, and we have the teachings of Kapila as a separate section in Srimad Bhagavatam. So he has taught the Sankhya philosophy, which is a strong boat with which to cross over the ocean of nescience. Indeed, a person eager to cross the ocean of the material world may take the shelter of this philosophy. In such a greatly learned person situated on the elevated platform of transcendence, how there can be any distinction between an enemy and friend? So in this verse, it is explained like the philosophy of whatever Kapila Muni has given, with that a person can cross over this material world. So how a person like this can make distinction between an enemy and a friend? So it is saying that he has nothing to do with that particular horse. Yo samanjasa ityukta sah keshinya nripatmajaha tasya putrom suman nama pitamaha hiterataha. So till this point, we have discussed like the sons of Sagara Maharaja insulting or offending Kapila. Now we will see like what is happening next in the kingdom of Sagara Maharaj. So his 60,000 children went in the search of horse he saw, and they were burned to ashes. Now, among the sons of Sagara Maharaj was one named Asamanjasa, who was born from the king's second wife, Keshini. So the children of the first wife, everyone went and they were burned to ashes. The son of the second wife, Kesini, is named as Asamanjasa. And the son of Asamanjasa was known as Amshuman. And he was always engaged in working for the good of Sagara Maharaja, who is his grandfather. So here the son of the second wife of Sagara Maharaja is Asamanjasa and his son is Amshuman. So he always thinks for the good of Sagara Maharaj. Asamanjasa atmanam darshayam asamanjasam jatismara pura sangat yogi yogat vichalitah acharan garhitam loke Gnati-nam karma vipriyam sarvyam kridatu balan prasyad udvejayan janam. So this person, Asamanjasa, is a great mystic yogi from his previous birth. But by bad association, he has fallen from his exalted position. So Krishna says that if one performs yoga, then he will be carrying that forward. So here, whatever he has done in his previous birth, with that result, he has, so he will be having some special qualities that we will see now. Now, in this life, he was born in a royal family and was a Jati Smara. That is, he had special advantage of being able to remember his past birth. So none of us remember who we were in our previous life. But because this person was a great mystic yogi and he has fallen down from that exalted position, he had that special capability, like to know who was he in his past life. So nonetheless, he wanted to display him as a miscreant. So he knows that he was a great person in his previous life, and with bad association, he has fallen down. Now he don't want to repeat that again. So he is pretending like he is a miscreant. Therefore, no one will care about him and he will do whatever is good for him. So nonetheless, he want to display himself as a miscreant, and therefore he would do the things that were abominable in the eyes of public and unfavorable to his relatives, so that everyone will neglect him. He would disturb the boys sporting in the river Sarayu by throwing them into the depth of waters. So here he is like, who were the people or who were the boys who were sporting in the river Sarayu? He was throwing them into the depth of water. Why he is throwing them will be explained in the next verse. Evam vritta parityakta pitra sneham apohya vai yogeshwaryena bhalam stan darshayitva tato yayo. Because Asamanja engaged in such abominable activities. What are those? He was throwing the people into the river. His father gave up affection for him and had him exiled. So because he was doing like this, his father, like, he developed or he gave up the affection, whatever he has, so that it is good for him as well as this boy. So he had exiled him. He told, you can go to forest. So then Asamanjasa exhibited his mystic power by reviving the boys and showing them to the king and their parents. So because he know that in the previous birth he was a great mystic yogi, with that qualities, with that mystic power, he has revived the boys who were thrown into the river and shown them to the king and the boys' parents. After this, because king said that he need to exile, Asamanjasa left Ayodhya. And now there is his grandparent of the Asamanjasa, who is Amshuman. अयोध्यावासिनः सर्वे बालाकान् पुनरागतान् दृष्ट्वा विशिस्मिरे राजन् राजा चाप्यन्वताप्यता. O King Parikshit, when all the inhabitants of Ayodhya saw that their boys have come back to the life, they were astounded, and the king Sagara greatly lamented the absence of his son. So here, because with his mystic yogic powers, he has returned the boys. Everyone is astonished, and the king was lamenting. Now, thereafter, that Amshuman thing, what he has done is explained here. अंशुमांश्चोदिता राज्ञा तुरगान्वेषिणे ययौ पितृव्य कथानुपतां भस्मान्ति ददृशे हयम्. Thereafter, Amshuman, the grandson of Maharaj Sagara, was ordered by the king to search for the horse. Now, because his first wife, all children were not available, his immediate son was not available, only the person who is there is his grandson Amshuman. Therefore, the king ordered to Amshuman to search for that Ashwamedha's horse so that he can complete the sacrifice. Following the same path traversed by his uncles, Amshuman gradually reached the stack of the ashes and found the horse nearby. So as we can see in the picture, Amshuman had reached the place where Kapila was staying and the horse is nearby. And there is a pile of stack of ashes found near the horse. Tatrasinam munim vikshya kapilakhyam adokshajam astaut samahita mana pranjali pranato mahan. So here, whatever the sons of the Sagara Maharaj have done or has, so their dealings with the Kapila Maharaj, that was on an offending way. But here, this person, Amshuman, is like, he understood that this person is a great saint and he has offered proper respects to this Lord Kapila. So the great Amshuman saw the sage named Kapila, the saint who is an incarnation of Vishnu, Adokshajam, sitting there by the horse. Amshuman offered his respectful obeisances, folded his hands, and offered him prayers with great attention. So this is the difference between the people in mode of passion and mode of goodness. So they understand that the person, or they understand the situations, they understand the people, and based on that they behave. They don't get angry unnecessarily and offend other people. Amshuman uvacha napasyati tvam paramam atmano jano napasyati tvam paramam atmano jano nabuddhyate dyapi samadhi yuktibihi kuto paretasya mana shariradi visarga sreshtha vayam prakashaha. So here Amshuman is praying to Lord Kapila. My Lord, even Lord Brahma is to this very day unable to understand your position. So even Lord Brahma is unable to understand the actual position of that Supreme Lord, which is far beyond himself, either by meditation or mental speculation. So what to speak of others like us, who have been created by Brahma in various forms as demigods, animals, human beings, birds and beasts. We are completely in ignorance. Therefore, how we can know you, who are the transcendents? So he is giving enough respect, saying that even the creator of this material universe, Lord Brahma, is unable to know you completely. Then what to speak of the secondary creation of Lord Brahma? How we can understand you? Yedeha vajas triguna pradana gunan vipasyantyuta tamascha yanmayaya mohita chetasastvam Vidu Swasamstham Nabali Prakashaha. So here he is continuing his prayers, saying, my Lord, you are fully situated in everyone's heart, but the living entity is covered by material body, cannot see you because they are influenced by the external energy conducted by the three modes of material nature. So this is said time and again, like all the living entities earlier, everyone is of pure souls, but once they enter into this material world, because of the actions of the three modes, their material body is covered, and because of the impacts of the activities done based on the three modes, one will get their karma, and again with that karma one will move in this cycle of birth death one again and again. So their intelligence being covered by Sattva-guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, these three modes of material nature, they can see only the actions and reactions of these three modes of material nature. Because of the actions and reactions of the mode of ignorance, whether the living entities are awake or sleeping, they can see only the workings of material nature. They cannot see your lordship. So under the influence of this three material nature, they will think that everything is happening by material nature itself. They will not see the Lord who is behind the creation of the material nature, who has put everything into order so that it can run independently. Tvam tvamaham jnana ghanam svabhava pradvastamaya gunabeda mohai sanandanadyirmunibhirvibhavayam katam vimuda paribhavayami. Oh my Lord, sages freed from the influence of these three modes of material nature. So sages who are freed from these three modes of material nature, and he is giving examples like the four Kumaras, Sanat, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana. They are able to think of you. So how sages are able to think of them? Because they overcome these three modes of nature, who are concentrated knowledge. But how can an ignorant person like me think of you? So here, until and unless one is humble, submissive to their guru, they will not reveal the actual thing which is required to get out of this material world. Prashantamaya gunakarmalingam anamarupam sadasadvimuktam Jnanopadeshaya grihita deham namamahe tvam purusham puranam. O completely peaceful Lord, although material nature, fruitive activities, and their consequent material names and forms are your creation, you are unaffected by them. This is also said in Bhagavad Gita. Lord creates this material world, but Lord creates the material world, Lord creates the four varnas, but Lord is always transcendental to them. So here it is said, Lord creates everything, but he is unaffected by them. Therefore, your transcendental name is different from material names, and your form is different from material forms. You assume a form resembling the material body just to give us instructions like those of Bhagavad Gita. But actually, you are that supreme original person. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So here Amshuman is seeing the Kapila. Because he's seeing him personally, physically, he's saying, whatever your original form is there, that is different from this form. Whatever your name is there, that is different. So you are actually the supreme original person. Therefore, let me offer my obeisances. Tvanmaya rachite loke vastu buddhya grihadishu Brahmanti kamalobheshya moha vibhranta chetasaha. O my Lord, those whose hearts are bewildered by the influence of lust, greed, envy, illusion are interested only in falsehood and home in this world created by your Maya. Attached to the home, wife, children, they wander in this material world perpetually. Here it is said that one who is attached or one who is influenced by this lust, greed, envy, illusion, they are interested only in the false things. So the false enjoyment. And one who is under the influence, they always think that they are this body, and whatever the relationships associated with body and whatever the properties associated with that body, they will be attached with that, and they will always be in this material world time and again because of that influence of that lust, greed, anger, and they will always be part of this cycle of birth and death, and they will never attain the moksha. अद्य नः सर्वभूतानां कामकामेन्द्रिया आशयः मोहपाशो दृढश्चिन्नो भगवांस्तव दर्शनात्. O super soul of all living entities, O personality of Godhead, simply by seeing you, I have now been freed from all lusty desires, which are the root cause of insurmountable illusion and bondage in the material world. So he is now saying, because of taking darshan of you, my mind got purified, and now I am being freed from all lusty desires, which were the root cause of his illusion. So after this prayers, so till now Amshuman has glorified Lord Kapila. Sri Sukha Uvacha Ittam Geetanubhavastam Bhagavan Kapilo Muni Amshumantam Uvachedam Anugrahaya Dhyanrapa. Now Sukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj about this pastime and saying, when Amshuman had glorified the Lord in this way, the great sage Kapila, the powerful incarnation of Vishnu, being merciful to him, very merciful to him, explained to him the path of knowledge. So it is up to us how we reach to our Guru or to the great sages, because based on our surrender, they will reciprocate. Earlier, the 60,000 sons of Sagar Maharaj, they have offended and they were burned to ashes. Here, this Amshuman, he has surrendered, he has glorified the King Kapila or sage Kapila. Now, that powerful incarnation of the Supreme Lord Vishnu is very merciful upon him, and he is explaining the path of knowledge. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashvoyam Niyatam Vatsa Pitamaha Pashustvava Imecha Pitaro Dagdha Gangamborhati Netarat. The personality of Godhead said, my dear Amshuman, here is the animal sought by your grandfather for sacrifice. So till this point, did Amshuman meant or informed Lord Kapila that he came for horse? No. But because Lord Kapila is the incarnation of Supreme Lord, he knows that what is the purpose of every living entity. And he knows why Amshuman came there. So he is saying, here is the animal which you are searching, which is required for your grandfather for the sacrifice. Please take it. As for your forefathers who have been burned to ashes, they can be delivered only by the Ganges water, so Ganga water, and not by any other means. So he has given both the things. One is how to satisfy his grandfather and how to get liberation for his uncles. Tam parikramya sirasa prasadya hayaman anayat sa sagarastena pashuna yajna shesham samapyayat. Thereafter Amshuman circumambulated Kapila Muni and offered him respectful obeisances. Bowing his head after fully satisfying in this way, Amshuman brought back the horse meant for sacrifice, and with this horse, Maharaja Sagara performed the remaining ritualistic ceremonies. So, with that humble attitude, he has glorified Lord Kapila. Lord Kapila was satisfied with the prayers, and he has given, like, here is the horse, and the means of deliverance for your uncles is to bring Ganga here so that they will be liberated. King Amshuman took that horse and he has given it to his grandfather Sagara Maharaj, and with that the sacrifice was complete, and Maharaj Sagara performing the remaining ritualistic ceremonies. Rajyam Amshumate Nyasya Nihspriho Mukta Bandhana Auropadishta Margena Lebhe Gatim Anuttamam. So here, after completing the sacrifice, now after then he has delivered the charge of the kingdom to his grandson. So Sagara Maharaj has given the charge of his kingdom to the Amshuman, thus being freed from all material anxiety and bondage. So because now he is not a king, there is no anxiety, and because the only person whom he had was Amshuman, now he has made his king and there is no bondage. Based on this, Sagara Maharaj has followed the means of instructions by Auramuni and achieved that supreme destination. So at this point, this chapter ends. So here we have seen in this chapter, like, who was Sagara Maharaj, the lineage, and he was planning to do, or he has started to do, that Ashwamedha sacrifice, and Indra has stole that particular horse, and later Sagara Maharaj instructed his first wife 60,000 children to search for that particular horse, and these children, they have dug the earth so deeply that they reached Kapila's ashram and they found the horse there. Offending him, they were thinking that he has stolen the horse. They were trying to attack him and they were burned to ashes. Later, King Sagara instructed his grandson of his second wife, from his second wife, to go and search, and later Amshuman found Kapila. He has glorified him, satisfied him, and he has got the possession of the horse as well as the way to liberate his uncles, and came back, and he has handed over that particular ashram, the horse, to complete the sacrifice. Now King Sagara has completed the sacrifice. He has handed over the kingdom to Amshuman, and now he followed the orders of his guru and achieved that supreme destination. So this is a short summary of today's session. Om Tat Sat, Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Today or tomorrow we are going to discuss about how the Ganga Devi is come to this world. So how Ganga Devi was invited, what did Ganga Devi say, and whether the uncles of Amshuman were liberated or not, that we will be discussing in tomorrow's chapter. Today it was most of a story kind of thing. If anyone has any questions, we can discuss now. Okay, I think now we can continue the chanting session. Let me quickly